up? Just Ehren right here, Question Period Canada. The PMs are off for 2 more weeks. What an easy life, right? What we're going to be doing in this video is taking a different look, a new style at the same old riffraff, this corrupt Liberal cabinet. They all have to go. Trudeau, Freeland, Guilbeault, they're all a bunch of bums. We're going to have some fun with that. A different look, a new style. Hopefully you'll enjoy it. Let me know in the comments. Let's take a look at Trudeau and his merry gang of criminals, man. This corrupt cabinet. Tough times in Canada, man. Let's go.
This House noticed how quickly he pivoted from a question on Ukraine. The reality is, Mr. Speaker, his members are ashamed of him for forcing him to vote against Ukrainian Canadians, to vote against Ukraine, to vote against support that the Ukrainian president was asking for.
Order. And I ask all members to please order. I'd like to remind the Prime Minister, please, to make sure that questions and comments are directed through the Chair. The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister demonstrates once again he is a fake and he is a phony, because he's a fake and
I'm going to remind the Honourable Leader of the Opposition is a very experienced member of Parliament, and I know that he would understand that kind of a statement that directed to an individual would not be considered parliamentary. So I'll ask the honourable member to continue with this question.
The Prime Minister is a fake and a phony on this issue, just like on everything else. He sends...
The honourable member, again, is a very experienced member, and he knows that when the Speaker asks him to chastise us a little bit for the use of language which is not considered parliamentary, I'd ask him, please, to rephrase, to withdraw those comments, rephrase the question without using those words.
Mr. Speaker, this is a Prime Minister who authorized the export of gas turbines to pump gas from Putin's economy into Europe to fund the war. He's someone who signed on to allow Russian detonators to blow up Ukrainians on the battlefield, and he's a pro-Russia energy policy to fund the Russian economy. We'll take no less.
That is pretty weak sauce from the Leader of the Opposition. The reality is, President Zelensky...
Not gonna lie to you, gang, it's gonna get rough. That's a taste of Poilievre just to get it going, but now we're gonna look at all of Trudeau's bums in his cabinet. It's brutal, guys. These guys lie straight to our faces on a daily basis, all the time. They don't mind doing it. We need an election. Let's get it going. Here we go. A bunch of bums.
Minister of Finance.
Mr. Speaker, we will take no lessons from the Conservatives when it comes to supporting the least vulnerable in our country. This is the party that wants to cut the Canada Child Benefit. This is the party that wants to cut support to our seniors. This is the party that wants to cut early learning and childcare, which supports so many families. They're opposed to dental care. They're opposed to pharmacare, Mr. Speaker.
I agree with my honourable colleague. The violence must stop. Hostages must be released. Humanitarian aid must go into Gaza. We need to make sure that Israeli and Palestinian civilians are protected. And that is the position of the government. We will be there to make sure that there is long-term peace in the region, and of course to make sure that there is the Jewish community and the Muslim community and all communities across the country are well secured and can live peacefully here as well at home.
Conservative Party has become the CIO of Canada, the Chief Inaction Officer, Mr. Speaker. What he's advocating on this side of the House is inaction on climate change. It's inaction on clean growth. It's inaction on green jobs, Mr. Speaker. On this side of the House and millions of Canadians, we believe in action. Action against climate change. Actions to build the economy of tomorrow. Actions to build the jobs of tomorrow, Mr. Speaker. We're going to fight climate change and make sure that we bring more money in the pocket of Canadians. That's our plan.
I love to get up to talk about my province of Newfoundland and Labrador and how the carbon rebate is putting more money back into the pockets. With the rural top-up, Mr. Speaker, in April 15th, the average family of four in my riding all throughout Newfoundland and Labrador outside of St. John's will be getting $1,430 a year to offset prices. And, Mr. Speaker, we've got another benefit. Another lady in my riding, Katie, applied for the oil to heat pump program, which is going to save her $800 a year as well. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Advocacy. We all have a role to play to advance reconciliation, and this includes cultural reconciliation. Since we supported its creation in 2017, the Indigenous Screen Office has played a pivotal role in revitalizing Indigenous cultures and bringing Indigenous stories to our screens. Last week, I was proud to announce that we made this funding permanent, providing it with $65 million over 5 years and $13 million ongoing. This funding will support and promote the work of Indigenous creators to share their rich and diverse cultures and languages for years to come.
Once again, Mr. Speaker, I would say the Conservatives need to stop spouting falsehoods. Right. The average net benefit to Canadians in Ontario is $255 a year. In Manitoba, $365 a year. In Alberta, $723 a year. In Saskatchewan, $349 a year. What these folks are going to do is make poor people poorer, and they are going to essentially sacrifice the future of our children going forward. Shame on you.
Once again, page 6 of the PBO report indicates that at the end of the year, Albertans are $700 better off thanks to a very real Canada carbon rebate. Mr. Speaker, in my riding of Edmonton Centre, well over 69% of residents want this government to fight climate change. We couldn't breathe the smoke in the air on September long weekend or May long weekend. These guys want to let the planet burn. We're going to defend the planet, put more money in the pockets of Albertans. They can do what they want to do. We're going to defend Canadians and make sure there's a planet for our kids and our grandkids.
I respect that member opposite, but what I respect most of all is that he actually wasn't here when we were voting on Bill C-75. That piece of legislation actually enhanced the penalties on summary conviction for auto theft, something that most of his colleagues voted against. He wasn't here, so I'll excuse him on that one. On the issue of mandatory minimum penalties, there's a guy named Ben Perrin. He might remember that individual. He used to be the legal advisor to a guy named Stephen Harper. Ben Perrin has been on the record as saying that mandatory minimum penalties were a gross error, a miscarriage of justice, and perpetuate systemic racism. That's why we reversed them. I wish these guys would get on board.
Climate change.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I thank my honourable colleague for her question. In fact, we are doing exactly that. We're the first country, the only country in the G20 to have phased out fossil fuel subsidies, 2 years ahead of everyone else. We're the only country that has committed to eliminate public financing for fossil fuel subsidies. We have the best performance of all G7 countries in terms of greenhouse gas reduction between 2019 and 2021. We are working to fight climate change. We are working to improve air quality all across the country, Mr. Speaker.
We are going to wrap this one up. It's a fun way. I hope you like the new style. Like, we're going to be trying to do that more and more, come up with creative ways to show this content. Like, there's so many people that do this kind of job that it's tough to be creative, but we're trying to get there. Anyways, my name's Ehren. This is Question Period Canada. We cover the broadcasts of the daily question periods from the House of Commons. We've got a great community where you participate, come have fun in our chat room. It's a great gang of people that are similar-minded, looking for change in Canada. We do want an election. So yeah, like and subscribe, get notified for the live stuff, and consider joining up for a membership. We're putting out more content for that stuff too. That's it. We're going to get going. Thank you for watching. We'll catch you next video. Have something healthy to eat. Try to stay warm. We'll catch you next video. Thanks for watching.
Cookie, me really love that cookie. So after that one cookie, me make 2, then 3, then 4. And claim of freedom. Talking about freedom. Keep your ear to the ground. Talking about freedom. It's the best show in town. Freedom.